you mentioned the whole felony thing. And, we talked about on our last interview how you caught a felony with the whole bank situation. I recently interviewed Jayson Williams, the former basketball player. And I don't know if you know about his story, but when he ended up getting injured during his NBA career, and he walked away with $90 million, in his first season because he broke his leg and couldn't come back. And some years later, he had a bunch of people at his house, and there was like a limo driver. And
somebody got shot and all that shit, and he tried to hide it. Yeah.
Yeah, he ended up accidentally killing his limo driver, right?
Yeah.
And, then he tried to hide it.
I tried to hide it.
He did 1.5 years in prison and so forth. And what he told me that I never realized, because I don't have any felonies. I caught some misdemeanors when I was, underage, which ended up getting sealed up.
Well, just steal some bubble gum out the...
yeah, some
out the
breaking into a mall type bullshit, like...
Sold some Fruit of the Looms or some shit.
Yeah, some bullshit. Got arrested. Had some community service.
Okay.
Yeah, all that. But I managed not to get any felonies as an adult. But what he told me that I never realized was he said once he got out, he was having to live in a hotel because as a felon, nobody would rent an apartment to him. Well, why didn't you just, once you started reaching the problems of trying to rent something, why not just buy a condo or buy a house or something like that at that point?
You can't, Vlad. Homeowners Association, HOA, they were worse than renting. I go over there and want to buy something, and the first thing they say is, we don't want him here. Hell, they wouldn't give Tim Tebow a place, right? I ended up getting a place in that building, Tim Tebow didn't. And Tim Tebow just loves Jesus, right? And I couldn't get a place, and I'm a convicted felon. So the Homeowners Association, even now, where I live in Florida, I had to go between the HOA and beg for mercy 18 years later, right?
Yeah.
And it's nothing about a DWI. It's about what happened 18 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then when he went to go buy a house, the Homeowners Association wouldn't let him in either. So he literally had to live in a hotel for a while until he met a woman who actually owned a bunch of buildings and kind of made an exception for him. But here's this guy that's worth tens of millions of dollars who can't rent an apartment. And I just started thinking like, well, damn, all these felons that are getting out who are broke, what are they doing in terms of a living situation?
Well,
like,
let's just go.
It's designed to make you fail.
But let's go back to the fact that Jayson Williams had all this money and you didn't have no bitches. The brokest motherfucker in the penitentiary got bitches on the outside to help you. You didn't have to live in no fucking motel. You ain't had now bitch that would ride with you that you could parole to her house. Fuck out of here. What are you talking about? Ooh, people be full of shit. I'm about that life. I know how this game goes. He's supposed to have 3 or 4 bitches that he was writing to, talking to, having come visit him. Can I parole at this bitch house? I can parole at this bitch house. He could have gave her the money and had the shit set up. Or married the bitch and did. Well, he didn't have to live in no motel. He was in the motel with the hoes for a while, probably.
Well, he was probably in a hotel. He was probably at the Four Seasons.
At the hotel.
At the hotel.
Oh, poor Jayson Williams. I'm worth millions of dollars. Nobody will take me in. I don't have no friends, no relatives, no bitches.
Well, okay. I feel you on that. But back to my original point, was surprising to me that you have this type of system where literally you get out of prison and you do your time. You have paid your debt to society. You didn't get away with it. You didn't skirt the law. You robbed the house. They gave you 5 years. You did all 5. You got out. You should be even. Okay, everyone's good now. Then you go and rent a house or an apartment and they tell you no. Then they tell you, and everyone else tells you no, and they can legally tell you no because you can't discriminate someone based on race or, gender or sexual orientation, but you can legally say, sorry, you're a felon, you can't live here. I'm telling it to your face.
Well, let me say these 2 things. Number one, they can and they do discriminate against people because of race and gender and stuff. That's why the brother that's married to the white girl has a white girl go buy the house. because she can get the motherfucker. Okay? Hey, he tried to go get the same goddamn house. They tell him house is sold, whatever like that. So you send your white girl back and she get it for you. So they are definitely still discriminating against trans people, against Mexicans, against everybody like that. The white man, they're still discriminating. Don't believe it for a minute. And then the other thing, what was the second part of that? Discrimination and
In terms of felonies.
oh, they do this. The Vietnam vets are fucked up too. You got Vietnam vets that gave their fucking life. They got the Agent Orange and everything. They come back here, they get treated like fucking shit. The system for the homeless Vietnam vets that are out here is disgusting, and they should be able to have sources at the falling at their fucking feet. They've come out and then they done gone crazy and they went to the penitentiary, then they get out the penitentiary, and it's just all vicious fucking cycle. The only people that are living really, really well are the criminal ass top level 5% white folks that's running every goddamn thing. Those people, they're gonna get their day, because like I said, God don't like ugly. Everybody else, we're just a pawn in this bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think prison is designed to actually improve the person. Which
You
is what
don't
it's
no
supposed to
no
do.
they
It's
have
supposed
more
to-
and they got more animal shelters than they do homeless shelters, and nobody goes in prison and really gets very, very low percent of people get out and really, really get their shit together. If you've been locked in a cage for 15 years and they throw you out in a car on the 110 freeway, you might have a little trauma adjusting.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I've been watching Love After Lockup, so that's how I know.